And my thesis title was Bias-Motivated Events Experienced by California State University Stanislaus Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Students. So a little introduction. In the state of California in 2009, hate crimes with a sexual orientation, prejudice, motivation were the second most common type of hate crime, comprising of 22.3% of all hate crimes in California. More introduction and some literature review. Sexual orientation is a complex system used to understand oneself as a sexually and romantically relational individual. Those who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual are considered members of the sexual minority. Heterosexuality is seen as the norm and either fails to acknowledge or stigmatizes diverse sexual orientations. Due to this factor, sexual minorities are often oppressed by verbal, physical, and sexual discrimination. Sexual identity and relational patterns are among the many issues of identity addressed in the developmental stages of young adults while in college. Universities are a place for fun, exploration, learning, and provide ample opportunities for identity and relational identity exploration. Students getting a fresh start in college feel there are many opportune moments to express themselves in different ways. When exploring the newfound independence and the free range of identity, love, and relationships, one can experience also fear, particularly when others are disclosing prejudice and bigotry, subtly or prominently toward the LGBT population as a whole. Visibly owning one's identity is pertinent to a successful community. However, with visibility comes the risk, which leads to potential harmful consequences. The significance of my study. Bias-motivated violence contributes to symptoms correlated with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, anger, and hopelessness. The California Penal Code defines hate crime as a criminal act committed in whole or in part because of one or more of the following actual perceived characteristics of the victim: disability, gender, nationality, race or ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or any association with a person or group with one or more of these actual perceived characteristics. Victims of hate crimes report more trauma-related symptoms than victims of any other crime. Hate violence sends a message to all those in the LGBT population and results in fear and threatens their safety. The principal mission of social workers is to improve human well-being and help meet the basic human needs of all, with specific attention to the needs and empowerment of people who are predisposed and oppressed. Creating awareness and identifying safety perceptions among college students of the LGBT population will help advocate for their freedom and rights as reputable citizens of the population as a whole. My methodology. This mixed method study was meant to serve as a foundation for future research relating to opportunities that support a sense of safety and security in the community of the lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgender persons on campus. My guiding research questions. Question 1 was the question that guided my research the most and what most of my thesis ended up being about, and that is what types of bias-motivated events do LGBT students experience while on campus. Bias-motivated events refers to what's more commonly known as hate crimes. And in this question, look to examine the different types of hate crimes that lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender students experienced, those hate crimes while on Stanislaus State's campus. The second question, what formal and informal responses do LGBT students practice while on campus, refers to formal being those that were reported to authorities or reported to staff or faculty members, and informal being referring to reporting to friends and family members. And third, what types of resources do college campuses provide for LGBT students who experience these bias-motivated events? The resources refers to different things such as gay-straight alliances or the campus counseling center, for example. My research was conducted on California State University Stanislaus campus to identify the types and experiences of bias-motivated events. A survey of closed-ended and open-ended questions were distributed via email and Facebook posts to those who self-identify as a part of the LGBT community. Participants had to fit the following criteria. They had to actively self-identify with the LGBT community and currently attend California State University Stanislaus. Non-probability snowball sampling was the sampling method used to reach the population necessary for this research. Their survey was created by Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network, also known as GLSEN, and was modified to fit college-age students rather than elementary to high school-age students, which GLSEN uses their survey for. Contact was made with members of Love Evolution, Stanislaus State's GSA on campus, through Club's Facebook page, as well as other Stanislaus State's Facebook pages in search of participants fitting the aforementioned criteria. Questions in the survey included items related to bigotry, biased language, harassment, assault, reporting incidences, possible places where unsafe feelings exist, and the prevalence of support systems. Univariate statistical tests were performed. More specifically, the mean was the most beneficial to this study. And coding patterns were based on bigotry and discrimination, isolation, and support for resources. The sample, you had to self-identify as a part of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community, and you had to currently attend Stanislaus State. So this graph shows the population, or the sample size that I had. It was a small population sample, but what was good about it was that it was wide ranged. I had 4 female lesbians, 3 bisexual females, 2 questioning females, 4 gay males, 3 bisexual males, 1 questioning male, and 1 male to female lesbian. So even though there was few participants, it was a wide range of participants. And the majority of the sample population was under the age of 30 and lived off campus. And generally, participants were not out to faculty, peers, or family members. My major findings. California State University Stanislaus campus overall was somewhat free of bias-motivated physical and assaultive events, according to those surveyed, but homophobic remarks occurred more regularly. The perceived level of comfort is at risk, policy awareness was low, and bias-motivated verbal events are occurring. This graph shows hearing homophobic remarks. This was what was most commonly spoken about in the open-ended questions. And the overall feeling was that they were homophobic remarks were being made and it affected participants negatively. So in the first set, you can see that hearing gay was used negatively most often in comparison to no homo or any other remarks such as faggot or dyke. One participant stated, homophobic remarks hurt me deeply because my sexual orientation does not define me as a person. Homophobic remarks were the most common bias-motivated events occurring, but there was an instance of sexual harassment and participants indicated most forms of harassment were directly related to gender expression rather than sexual orientation. Reporting incidents of harassment rarely occurred, and participants described that they felt nothing would have been done if they would have reported in the first place. So in hearing homophobic remarks, this participant said, in one of my courses, a student made the comment that gay people were dumb and complained a lot. After this one student started, 2 others joined the hate conversation. It is very uncomfortable and hurtful to be in a room with them. This participant also went to say that there was a faculty member in the room and that the faculty member did not say or do anything to stop the conversation from occurring. In a case of sexual harassment, one participant stated, we were working on a project. A male student forcefully bent me over the side of the couch until I was partially stuck, with my face and upper half into the cushion, and my hips were hooked over the side, and he began to thrust into my backside, acting as though he was having sex with me. This participant was a lesbian and also went on to describe that the perpetrator's goal was to make her straight. I also had a round of faculty responses, and that was in regards to resources on campus. So some faculty were asked questions, and the common resources mentioned was the Campus Counseling Center. However, the overall feeling was that that would not be sufficient to assist LGBT students, and this participant stated, I do not always feel this limited resource is enough, and they were referring to the Campus Counseling Center. Some implications. For practitioners and clinicians, we must help LGBT individuals in the coming out process, as well as what to do if bias-motivated events occur, because participants stated that they were unaware of what could be done or what should be done, more so because they weren't sure of how they felt and what would come of it. For educators, one participant offered up a suggestion and said that I believe education would help increase the negativity that persists on campus. California State University Stanislaus can also adopt the Safe Zone program. The Safe Zone program seeks to increase visibility of students and adults who can help influence the school's culture in accepting all people, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression, and provides training for educators to assist these students. For policymakers, to make sure gender expression and sexual orientation is included in such policies regarding hate crimes. For social workers, to continue to advocate for the rights of LGBT students. Limitations in future research. These findings must be known as preliminary, and as this pilot study included a limited number of participants. And this pilot study can be done on a much larger scale. For instance, more in-depth qualitative interviews and more intensive quantitative study on CSU Stanislaus campus or on any other campuses in California. Thank you. Questions? Yes.
Have there been other studies like what you did at some of the campuses?
Yes, I didn't find a whole lot of literature. I was kind of surprised on how much literature I actually found. And a lot of it was not on, per se, college campuses. A lot was done either just in general public or on high school age students. So I found one that was done in Canada and one that was done in a rural university in Pennsylvania.
That was it?
That was all I could find. Yes?
You should be really proud of the work that you've done, and I'm wondering if you've thought about what to do with the findings now.
My chair and I have discussed it, and we're going to further discuss it to hopefully do something else with it. Thank you. Thank you.